fruitful a matter, to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. Amen. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Correction and approval of record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, 23rd June 2021.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, good morning to you all, and good morning, honorable ministers, members of the press, and everybody else. You're all welcome to this week's sitting. Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, the 23rd of June 2021 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and approved? Yes, honorable member for Busumbala. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move the motion that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, 23rd June 2021 be corrected and considered.
Thank you. Yes, Lower Salom. Thank you. Seconder.
Thank you, Ma. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, the 23rd of June 2021 be approved. Have any issues, observations, corrections from honorable members? Sorry. I believe, yeah, it's already circulated. Anything on page 1 or the front page, sorry. The cover page. Okay, page 1. Page 1. Page 2. Yes, Lower Salo.
Yes, thank you. Madam Speaker, my name is captured on a present list, 25, and then I was absent with permission.
2.
No.
Yes, sorry, it's on page 2. Table office, please. Yes, Banjul North, page 2.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I was also listed on the present when I was absent with permission.
Yes, Sabasanya.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Number 38, the Honorable Member for Fatou was not in the chambers that day.
Number?
38.
Any more corrections on page 2? Are we all satisfied with page 1? The attendance on page 1, okay. Thank you. Page 2. We move to page 3 then. Yes, Woolley East, page 3.
Page 3, the last line, page 3. They put Nyania, should be Nyani. Member for Nyani.
Yes, Fonyi Bintankaran Lai. Oh, that was a correction. Thank you. Yes, Sabasanya.
Yes, under those absent with permission, I can vividly remember Honorable Salvi Jawa and Honorable Bidon, so member for Nyamina West were here, and they are captured under the permanent absent list.
Table office, can you confirm with them, please, just afterwards? Please, honorable members, equally, may I just also remind you to register using the system. It also helps. Thank you. Page 3? No? Page 4? Yes, Wooly is?
Yes, the first is just a small one. Questions for oral answers. It should be that. And then if you look at the, for example, question number 219, it's treated with 7 supplementary questions. I think the supplementary questions are 6. And then the main question is 1. Is it 7? Is it 7 plus 1, 8? That's not my understanding.
The total should be 7. 2 from the original honorable member who asked the question, and then 5 from amongst others, making it 7. Sometimes we don't exhaust the 7, but the total is 7. It's the Ilyas 101-2021, which is 6, but we will check. Yes, any more? Yes, Abasanja, thank you.
Thank you very much. On the question list, I just observed that it's not arranged chronologically in ascending order. But there is a repetition. Question 2021 for some member for Sami is repeated. The same question is taken to the.
See, it's coming up twice. Yes, thank you. We'll delete the second to last. Thank you. Any more on page 4, honorable members? Page 4? No? Page 5? Page 5? Okay. Page 6? Page 7. Thank you. Take it down. We don't have any more corrections on the records. Okay, thank you very much. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Wednesday, the 23rd of June, 2021 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Clerk, we may proceed, please. Thank you. Clerk, can we?
Thank you. Oral ministerial statement with reference to Standing Order 48.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, you will recall that on the sitting of Tuesday, the 22nd of June, 2021, the Honorable Member for Banjul South sought leave of the Honorable Speaker under Clause 43K of the Standing Orders to move a motion without notice. After thorough consideration of the concerns raised, leave was subsequently granted for her to move the motion as a matter of urgency. Honorable members, the Honorable Member for Banjul South then moved the substantive motion by way of a resolution approved by the plenary to invite the Honorable Minister for Fisheries and Water Resources to appear before the National Assembly and explain the state of affairs in the fishing industry and other related matters. The Honorable Minister was written to and scheduled to appear before the Honorable this August Assembly today. And in view of that, Honorable members, I will now invite the Honorable Minister for Fisheries and Water Resources to deliver his oral statement to the Assembly in accordance with Clause 48 of the Standing Orders. However, just wish to draw the attention of honorable members to Clause 48(6) of the Standing Orders, that the time allocated for the oral ministerial statement shall not exceed 1 hour after the delivery of the Honorable Minister's statement. But honorable members who may wish to ask questions to the Honorable Minister relating to the statement will equally be given the opportunity to do so. And of course, sometimes I have to use my discretion. I know the time, according to the standing orders, is 1 hour, but we may look at 1 or 2 other issues. Yes, I see Honorable Member for Serekunda, you're raising your tag.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I did send a notice that I want to make personal explanation, but I've not seen it in the... I did send a notice to the Office of Speaker that I would want to make personal explanation, but I've not seen it in the other paper. I just want you to take note. If you have not received it, then I need to know so that I can follow it up. Well, I delivered it on Thursday. No, Thursday. It was sent to the clerk on Thursday. That is on the operations of public enterprises. Thank you. Maybe we can deal with it tomorrow then. Tomorrow, yeah, we can deal with it tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Honorable, yes, thank you.
Madam Speaker, good morning. I'm pleased to come to this August Assembly and explain the state of fisheries industry in the Gambia and other related matters. Madam Speaker and Honorable National Assembly members, the fisheries sector of the Gambia is divided into 3 subsectors. These are industrial fisheries, artisanal, and aquaculture. Industrial fisheries subsector is better described as capital intensive and involves the use of fishing trawlers and land-based fish processing and fish plant. A total of 12 fish processing establishments and 3 fish meal plants are established in the country. From 2017 to date, the activities of the industrial fishing has created employment for 2,809 Gambian youths, of which 2,124 are deckhands and 685 are as fisheries observers. In terms of revenue generated during the same period, a combined total of 461,621,022 Gambian dollars, 1 butut. This amount can be broken down as follows. Total revenue from fishing licenses, 141,370,412.39. Total revenue from 10% landing, 209,121,472.25. 209. Yes. Total revenue from arrested vessels, 31,760,000. Total revenue from Senegal-Gambia agreement, 7,539,738.01. Total revenue from EU-Gambia project, 71,819,399.16. Madam Speaker, as for artisanal fisheries, each activity involves fishing, fish processors, and fish distribution and marketing. These activities are relatively low capital intensive, and the operators are scattered around the coast and inland communities. A total of 186 fish landing sites operate in small-scale artisanal fisheries subsector, of which 10 are located within the Atlantic coast. Over 14,000 artisanal operators are engaged in fish dyeing, smoking, marketing, and distribution. This number does not include the young women and youth involved in landing and unloading fish from the boats. Similarly, a combined total of 4,234 fishermen are operating in the subsector. Still, in its infancy stage, aquaculture is deemed to have huge growth potentials in the Gambia, given the nutritional and economic potential of this subsector. The development of subsistence, small-scale and commercial aquaculture is well elaborated in the Fisheries and Aquaculture Policy 2017. Aquaculture represents an additional source of animal protein, contributing to food security while reducing pressure on wild stock, particularly the demersal stock and crustaceans. It can also create new jobs and generate revenue and foreign exchange. The country is particularly well positioned for fresh, backrice, and marine fish farming, and the provision of these facilities will enhance food and nutrition security, including economic development. Currently, a total of 37 aquaculture ponds and 17 oyster harvesting processing sites are operating. Madam Speaker and Honorable National Assembly members, the fisheries sector of the Gambia is of economic and social importance in that it provides sustainable livelihood, protein and high nutritional value and revenue for both fishing and non-fishing communities. Fisheries contribute 12% of GDP and the livelihood of well over 200,000 Gambians are critically dependent on it and its related activities. It is the third largest sector after agriculture and tourism in the country. The fisheries sector has great potential to make meaningful and substantial contribution to the socio-economic development of the country in terms of employment generation, food security, with improved nutritional standards and poverty reduction, particularly in the rural areas. This important contribution agrees with fisheries policy objectives and by extension the National Development Plan 2018 to 2021. However, the realization of these objectives and the substance of healthy ecosystem depend on the judicious management of rational and sustainable production methods and efficient utilization of feedstocks. Madam Speaker, the fisheries sector is faced with numerous constraints which limits its contribution to food security, poverty eradication, and overall economic development. These constraints are ecological, biological, technical, managerial, and institutional, including, among others, the following high cost of energy, high interest rates, inadequate knowledge about sustainable fish resources, irresponsible fishing methods, inadequate knowledge and skill in fish handling, processing, and preservation methods, inefficient community fisheries management committees, limited knowledge for effective co-management of fisheries resources, and adequate technical capacity of the primary stakeholders. Concerns have also been expressed over the excessive exploitation of marine fish species. The results of limited survey and assessment over recent years indicated that major marine fish stock are overfished or fully exploited. In particular, the most commercially important demersal species appear to be under threat from high level of exploitation. Others frequently cited problems in the fisheries sector, including poor implementation of policies and weak enforcement of existing laws, inadequate registration of vessels, especially small-scale boats, widespread use of illegal nets among the Gambian coast, high post-harvest losses in co-management initiative due to poor sanitary conditions, exposure of fisheries sector workers to unsafe and unhealthy working conditions, especially women and youth involved in the practice of fish smoking and distribution. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform this August Assembly that from 2017 to date, the government of the Gambia, in collaboration with development partners and stakeholders, implemented programs and activities to support the management and development of fisheries sector. This includes the following: TCP support in upgrading the ministry's website and the rolling out of the fisheries information system. TCP pilot project on the FTT improved fish smoking in Gunjur. FAO Dr. Fridjot Nansen survey to determine the stock level of our pelagic resources. TCP on the development of fisheries and aquaculture policy 2017. TCP on support to enhancing capacity of youth and women for employment in aquaculture, focusing in 3 key areas: hatchery development to produce quality seeds for stakeholders, 2 fish meal plants, capacity building for stakeholders in the different areas of aquaculture development and management. The establishment and functioning of a fully fledged fishing vessel monitoring system, VMS. Madam Speaker, the Gambia was the only country in the sub-region without a VMS. However, through the EU-Gambia Sustainable Fisheries Agreement, the country has a VMS and is therefore at par with neighbors in the sub-region. The Gambia became a member of the International Commission for the Conservation of Atlantic Tuna. Capacity development for personnel in the Fisheries Department in the different disciplines of fisheries management and development. Other institutions and fisheries organizations have equally benefited from capacity development programs. To increase fish production and create employment in the artisanal subsector, the Department of Fisheries constructed and distributed 10 fishing boats. Outboard engines with nets were distributed mainly to inland fishing communities. Establishment and strengthening of fisheries organization countrywide with the aim of forming regional apex bodies to participate in the management and development of fisheries, including the fight against illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing. To reduce illegal migration and create employment in the fisheries subsector, the government of Germany, through ECOWAS, is funding a pilot project in post-harvest fisheries. It is implemented by GAMWORKS, Fisheries Department and other stakeholders, and its involvement in construction is improving fish processing facilities in selected communities. This pilot project will also support an aquaculture establishment in the Upper River region. Additionally, my ministry is working with FAO in the development of a climate-smart fisheries project for possible funding for the Global Environment Facility. All this support given to the fisheries sector are essential ingredients and important intervention areas towards contributing to the achievement of the outcome of 1 and 2 of the NDP Plan 2018 and 2021. Madam Speaker, another important area of focus is the production of aquaculture establishment and fisheries resources against flood and other climate-related hazards. Climate change has the potential to cause migration of certain fish species in search of new feeding and protection, which will consequently lead to low productivity in both marine and inland water bodies. Coastal erosion will also lead to relocation of some of the fishing communities due to inaccessibility. Under continued sea level rise, present-day coastal wasteland will be gradually inundated, resulting in the loss of mangrove, and salt marsh vegetation. Madam Speaker, to ensure sustainability in the fisheries sector, the legislative policy and regulatory framework for enhancing the sustainable management of the development of fisheries must be strengthened. It is important that there is alignment and strong coordination and implementation of fisheries policies and programs at national, sub-regional, regional level. There is absolute need for concrete efforts to deter the fight against ever-increasing menace of illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing in our respective EEZs. Also, the value chain for fisheries and aquaculture transformation must be improved. There is also a need to have adequate infrastructure and facilities for improved fish handling, processing, and preservation. The provision of these facilities must be complemented with capacity building of the operatives in the area of sanitary and psychosanitary measures. Related matters. Madam Speaker and Honorable Assembly members, as recent as on the 18th of June 2021, there was a bumper harvest of sardinella fish locally known as yaboy in Tangi landing site. The fish could not all be sold by the women fish processors, other middlemen including those using refrigerator trucks for marketing and distribution in upcountry. The remaining fish could not be preserved due to lack of adequate ice because of electricity outage. This has resulted in spoilage. The situation happens only in Tangi fish landing site, contrary to other reports, and is highly regrettable as it was beyond control. However, going forward, consultation between the Ministry and the Fisheries Department of Fisheries and stakeholders to avoid the occurrence of such undesirable post-harvest losses continues. Going to sea at alternate days by fishermen has proven to be very successful in the past, and this strategy will continue. Finally, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the government, I wish to acknowledge the support Finally, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the government, I wish to acknowledge the support and cooperation from our development partners, particularly the FAO of the United Nations, the European Union, ECOWAS, the government of Japan, the Sub-Regional Fisheries Commission, in supporting government attain its management and development objective in this sector. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the statement delivered. Honorable members, I believe the document was earlier circulated before the Honorable Minister delivered it orally. So now, in accordance with our standing orders, I will now open the floor for honorable members to ask some questions to the Honorable Minister. The floor is now open. We can take, please, can you take note of them? I think it's only fair we allow the mover of the motion to summon the Honorable Minister to ask her question first. Honorable Member for Banjul South, and please can you help take the, we'll endeavor to capture everybody. So please just, let's exercise patience and just know that we're going by a list. And as I said, the standing orders do indicate 1 hour, but it appears as if probably we may exceed it, and I'll try to use my discretion to allow everybody. So let's be very short and precise and address the issues. Thank you very much. We'll take them down. Honorable Member for Banjul, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And thank you very much, Honorable, for answering to our call. This is a very detailed report, but unfortunately, it fails to address my request, because my request was purposely to address the waste by foreign investment and the failure of proper regulation. But nonetheless, we will go through this report And further, hopefully, my honorable colleague will proceed and move the proposed motion to establish an ad hoc committee to further investigate both the fisheries as well as the environmental ministry to come up with recommendations to the cabinet that we hope will be implemented. Madam Speaker, I will go to the subsectors of the industry. Madam Speaker, the minister said that the fisheries is divided into the industrial fisheries subsector, to which he claims contributed revenue to the value of 461,621,022.1 butut. Madam Speaker, and to that he gave us further breakdown. Madam Speaker, can the minister also, I think when we do our further investigations, we would want to know how this is reinvested back into the industry to ensure that what the minister said was lacking in his report.
Sorry, Honorable, can we all try to be together? The Honorable Minister has delivered a statement. Let us ask questions relating to that. Let us avoid statements.
No, I am going through the statement.
And long preambles, so that everybody will have an opportunity to ask questions. Now I can see that you're going through the document. Yeah. If you can just restrict it. Yeah. But initially, you started by making a statement.
No, because I brought the motion, and I knew the motion that I brought, and actually I said it's not answered correctly. And Madam Speaker,
let us not try to engage in any dialogue. No, I could have stopped you from the beginning.
Okay.
But I did not. I allowed you. But I'm just throwing a word of caution. Let us just.
Okay, I'm going through the report because he identified their challenges. And with this much revenue, Madam Speaker, I would have expected the Honorable Minister and his department to reinvest to ensure that these challenges are adhered to. Because, Madam Speaker, he said that these constraints are ecological, biological, technological, managerial, institutional, and include, among others, high cost of energy, high interest rates, inadequate knowledge about sustainable fish resources, irresponsible fishing methods. Madam Speaker, with that much revenue being incurred, I think these challenges should have been addressed. What is stopping the Honorable Minister and his department to address these challenges, reinvest, and make sure that these are rectified? Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister also said in his report that the artisan fishery, its activities involve fishing, and these we all know are done mostly by the local people. And then he said that aquaculture has so much potential, but the growth is slow. Madam Speaker, if there is potential in something, what is stopping the minister from investing and tapping the potential so that we will get to the desired position? Madam Speaker, we will move anyway to our expected position without any effort from the ministry. But with the improper investment and the proper things being done, we will obviously go to our expected. And we all know what we expect. The Honorable Minister said that this industry provides...
And Honorable, I think we need to be fair to each other. We...
Then, Madam Speaker,
let me... So you want me to just sit down and hold my hand? No. I have to intervene. With all due respect. I mean, when you're on your feet, I allow you. But if I see that there is need for me to draw up a word of concern or caution or not, too, I will make it and then allow you to continue. But then you just have to respect the chair as well. Just allow me to say what I want to say.
Observation.
Exactly. No, please.
Order.
I want to say that we have a time limit. And there are other honorable members who also want to take the floor and ask questions. So let us try by all means to ask direct questions that the honorable minister will respond to, rather than making general statements. That's what I'm saying.
Point of order, Madam
I'm
Speaker.
not stopping. Look, please, can you allow me? Can you just allow me? When I finish, if you want to raise your point of order, I will allow it. But let me also just make my intervention. My role is just to guide. So I just want to guide everybody so that we will just follow the right procedures. That's all. I'm not stopping anybody. So there was a point of somebody before you. I think it was the honourable member for Central Badibu. You know that I'm referring to you.
Yes, I have an observation to make. That is, since we have only 1 hour, let's summarize our intervention. But if you want to make a lecture, we'll be bored.
Exactly. My discretion is very restricted as well. Yes.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm rising on order 48.6. Madam Speaker, this House is operating through a principle, a law, and that is our standing order. We cannot deviate from our standing orders. And the standing order is after the ministerial statement, I refer myself and the Honorable House to clause 48.6. Yes. May I read with your permission? Sorry, 48.5 rather, 48.5. Is it 6? Yes, 6, sorry. After a statement has been delivered in the Assembly, a period of question on the statement which shall not last no more than 1 hour may then be taken. Okay. The Speaker shall determine the period taking into consideration the content of the statement, the number of members wishing to ask questions, and the pressure of the statement. Now, if members are to intervene, they should ask questions in relation to what is stated here, but not to make an elaborate statement. That is what I'm trying. That's what the order is telling us.
Honorable member, on your observation or a point of order. So look, can we have honorable member for Bangalore, please? I'm addressing him. If you recall, in my statement, I did refer specifically to that clause. It's not even standing to be corrected, but I specifically referred to 48.6. I did. So really, it's 1 hour, but I am appealing. I said, let us use our time wisely. You know, maybe, in fact, I even said that I can use my discretion depending on all circumstances taken into consideration. But we cannot make a long speech. Otherwise, it will defeat the whole purpose. Let's try to seek clarification where it's not clear. Let the questions be direct. That's all I am saying. Member for Banjul South, and we take other questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I think the matter was brought here because it is of great significance, and we should be allowed. Yeah, I understand, Madam Speaker, but what I'm saying is that since I cannot go through the report, I'll bring a motion to this August House so that we can establish an ad hoc committee to thoroughly investigate. Anyway, motion to thoroughly investigate, go through this report and thoroughly investigate, because Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister mentioned the importance of this industry and the livelihood of the people that depends. I am on my feet. Can you respect the Honorable Member, please?
Madam Speaker, out of order, out of order.
Madam Speaker, this matter is very important. That is why I brought this motion. It has got nothing to do with the Honorable Minister. It has got to do with the life and the importance of our resources. Madam Speaker, that is why I brought this motion
Madam Speaker.
out. We should respect this
Madam Speaker.
and address issues that affect the citizens of this country, Madam Speaker. If we cannot discuss it, then
Madam
we should
Speaker.
close this discussion, Madam Speaker.
If the honorable member wants us to respect her, let her also respect the chair. That's it, period.
Honorable Minister, the Honorable Member has raised certain issues. Can you just respond to the issues that she has raised?
Thank you, Madam
So
Speaker.
that I will allow others to, or do we take all the questions together?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
No, I don't think that he may be confused. Please, can you respond to the...
Well, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. As regards investment in the fisheries industry, things are prioritized. I said here that we are the only country that people can come in and out of our waters without us knowing. We have started doing something about that. Now we have got a VMS system. Up to Cape Verde, we can see who is coming into our waters. We're talking about getting a fisheries inspection boat that the Navy can now use and protect our waters. You see, we prioritize we prioritize the issues and know how to deal with them. But what we have done, what Cabinet has done, is to ring fence all the funds that is coming from the industry at the Ministry of Finance, so that we gradually prioritize and do things on a normal way. Because if you have a lot of things to do, you start doing everything at the same time, of course there will be commotion. As regards aquaculture, I have said here that we have started. Now we have got 2 fish mills, because you cannot do aquaculture without fish mills. When you have the mill, the product, then you can, and I indicated how many ponds we have. Hopefully, this rainy season we are working with IMO to get more young people and women involved. So it's a gradual process in this development, because what is happening in the industry is new. Because when we came, there was nothing. You hear about all this revenue coming, there was nothing. We try to build for the future. And it is our hope that whoever comes after us will pick it up from where we left it and do a better job. But our strategy is to do things gradually and prioritize them so that at least we will have good results. And that is where we are. I don't know whether I've covered, I picked up these 2 issues, but the other issues I didn't pick.
Thank you very much. Honourable Member for Fonyi Brevet.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The Honourable Minister has indicated to this Assembly that the bumper harvest that happened at that particular site in Anje, and the ultimate spoil was as a result of inadequate storage facilities, and the vendors could not cope with the harvest. Would you like to share with this Honourable House, hence it's a major concern, what efforts His Ministry is doing within the long term, or sorry, within the short term, to address such anticipated recurrence of what had happened, which is unfortunate?
Madam Speaker, this occurrence is not every day. And that is why we say fishing. You don't know whether you will catch fish, small or bumper. This happened before, almost 2.5 years ago, in Gunjo. And what we did, fortunately at that time, there was enough ice. And what we did after that was to have a meeting and agreed with the fisher folks that they don't go every day. They do it in turns. And that problem was solved. When it happened this time, unfortunately, it happened at a time that Tangi did not have electricity. There was nowhere short electricity supply. So they didn't have enough ice. When the women bought all they could buy, and you know, we are talking about sardinella, a very oily fish, highly pressable. When I was young, when they sent us to the market, they say, General Kobo Jobri, because nobody can keep it. If we knew that it was going to happen, we would have even called the people from the other landing sites to come and buy them. But we didn't know. And that is what has happened. But we are continually working. I think you must know that in every landing site we have a committee. And that committee is working with the fisher folks to determine how we best use the resources. And we have our staff working with them so that we will try to avoid these kinds of occurrences. And we will continue doing that. I said here before, we must invite private sector involvement in this area. When you talk about refrigerated vans, when you talk about people selling ice, government don't do those things. We expect the private sector to get involved. We hope combined, if we all put our plans together, we will minimize the situation of this as we go on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we would like to thank the Honorable Minister for this brief report, though there are significant achievements made by his ministry. But my observation is, the whole report didn't show any kind of skill transfer, whether it's artisanal fishing or coastal fishing, where our young people will be introduced to fishing. They learn skills to do fishing. Now, and you also made mention of support that you have given to some communities. I want to tell you, I don't know whether you have done real assessment, but the boats given to those communities, the size, the nets are not the proper nets that they can fish with, and the boats also are not, are not useful in the interior part of the Gambia, because maintenance is a problem. So I don't know whether you can really revisit it or you go and visit these communities whether they are functional. Now coming to aquaculture, another observation, we went to Jahali Pachar. We found that these ponds that have been constructed for aquaculture is full of weeds. You cannot in fact see the fish, and predators may come there and eat the fish. So could you tell the Assembly which sample aquaculture farm can you tell us that you made progress in, or you made bumper harvest as the whole project indicates? The other one is you talk about management, ineffective management at the fishing communities or site. What did your ministry do to build the capacity of those local people so that the management can be functional? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. About the boats, I want to say clearly that some people are using it properly, others are not using it properly. And we invite people who are not using it properly to come to us. You talk about the nets, and we told them, write to us, and we will buy those nets for you. Now, those who did, we have really taken care of it. Those who have not, as I can assure you, when they write, we will take care of it. As regards aquaculture, I think we must all be kind of reasonable. When I give you something to help you, you don't expect me to come there every day to do your work for you. To say you have weeds, and then you expect the department to come to bring people to take the weeds out, and you are the one benefiting from that. Unless I don't understand you are saying this, but we know that unfortunately, most of the time, our people don't take care of what they own. And this is very discouraging. That is, this time, we are working with a team of aquaculture experts that will regularly visit all the ponds and make sure that they do things the right way. We hope we will succeed with that. You talk about management. It is sad, and I will say it here. You want to manage your resources properly, but you manage it with people who have interest in what you are managing. But if you are managing with people who are foreigners, their only interest is money. You have to inject more of us Gambians into this system. And we tried. I talked about it in my report. We wanted to have an apex body with at least 60% of them being Gambians so that they will be able to direct the industry. We are having great difficulties. You may have 7 artisanal fish organizations. 6 of them have the same Secretary General. What does that tell you? There is no difference. And we are saying we must get more Gambians to come and get involved in this industry, because that's the only way forward. We are thinking of some regulations going forward of what do we allow to happen and what do we not allow to happen, and we will come here because, you know, when you want to make regulations, you have to consider you are part of ECOWAS. And it has some implication on some of the things we want to do, but we will come here with those, because that's the only way we can make sure that things are improving.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Ilyasa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Now, I'll be very much brief. And the Honorable Speaker, I'm the Minister. In your speak, said that 461,622,022 butu. But the way and the manner you break down seem to be too big. Because A, the amount of money collected or licensing 141 million. May I know how many years up to date?
Pardon?
May I know 141 million has been collected or land since? How many years?
What?
How many years? The period. I am not ready. If you go to A, if you go to B, if you go to C, the total number of vessels which I'm arrested, and we find about $31 million. How many people were arrested? And then, if you go to D, the argument between Senegal and the Gambia, the agreement was about 7 million. May we know the duration of this agreement? At what time it's going to expire? Thank you.
May you know rectification? Education.
What I am saying that
Thank you.
the agreement between Senegal and the Gambia,
Thank you.
and it costs almost about 7 million. I want to know. I want to know when is that agreement, the expiring date, between Senegal and the Gambia, expiring date of the agreement. Okay. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, my report is touching on 2017 to date. That's what I said and that's what I read. This is from 2017 to date. So the figures you are seeing is from 2017 to date. You asked about the Senegal-Gambian agreement. It was from 2017 to now. It is almost due for renewal. As I explained in this House, when this agreement was signed, there was no parliament. Hopefully now, when it is being reviewed, it will be brought to the parliament, and parliament will look at it and do what is appropriate.
Thank you. Honourable Member for Banjul North. Banjul North, yes.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, we have heard your statement, and you have indicated that from 2017 to date, 2,809 Gambian youth have been employed. Of course, there is no disaggregation as to how many per year. You would have, it would be very, very interesting to know 2017, how many of them were employed, 2018. Because the question I want to ask in this regard is, are these permanent jobs, are they still there? Is it, because I understand that these are contractual, sometimes 3 months, come and go. So it would have been very interesting to know how many per year. That's the first thing. The second question is, you talking about the same period, $461,621,022 one butut has been generated as a result of fishing licenses, landing, 10% landing, total revenue arrested vessels, revenue from Senegal or Gambian agreement, and then revenue from the EU-Gambia agreement. Of course, I've been asking questions regarding fisheries, and your answer has always been, when I ask about government investing, purchasing vessels, establishing factories, you said, no, we are inviting the private sector. But up to now, the call has been made, the appeal has been made, but the private sector is not forthcoming. Don't you think this amount, if part of it had been invested, it could have at least made a difference? What stops government from investing part of this amount in purchasing vessels, establishing fish plants at landing sites, important like Tanje, creating a fish plant there, a processing plant there? Don't you think this money could have been utilized to create such infrastructure so as to create employment for youth, for women, and then for those who are really operating in this sector? Don't you think it is time for government to really invest in this sector? Because what the government is waiting for is not forthcoming. The private sector is not forthcoming. It's not coming. So should government fold its arms and then wait for private sector when the potential exists? Because I believe if government invested, we could have generated more. In fact, this amount could have been generated on an annual basis rather than on the 4-year period. Because this is all about talking about 4 years. You generated nearly $500 million. You could have generated nearly $500 million every year had the investment been made in the purchase of fishing vessels and establishment of plants at landing sites. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I unfortunately did not give the statistics on an annual basis because the question that came to me said that I should talk about the fishing industry in the Gambia and other related matters. I didn't expect that statistics would be asked. But these are facts. Information I'm giving here are facts. And if you want us to give you statistics, we have them available. If the questions comes, we will answer them. As regards your question about the employment is of course on contract basis. We issue license for 3 months. When we issue license, they employ people for 3 months. When it is renewed for another 3 months, they employ another group for 3 months. Now the point is, we cannot just give somebody an annual license because if you do something bad, we don't have any remedies. That is why we give them quarterly licenses to operate. When they come back, our people will go and inspect whether their boat is in order, etc., before we renew the license. Honorable Member, you are always talking about investment in the industry. I share that. I want that to happen. But you ask yourself, what has been the record? I am not saying that because it failed the first time, it will fail the second time. But those of us who are not very young will remember the Gambia Fisheries and what happened. We all know what happened. Now, if you want to give this, unless we have in our psyche that if a job should be done by 2 people, we must only employ 2 people. But if a job should be done by 2 people and you employ 10, then obviously that business will not survive. And unfortunately, that has been the tradition over time. You people have discussed here the issue of Gamtel. You know what the problem was. Gamtel was one of the best companies in the sub-region, even in the world. But when we start employing more and more and more and more, they cannot handle it. So I will be too glad, even in my retirement, to come and join that group of people that would think of how do we organize. Because I'm not a fisherman by profession, I'm a social worker. But I like what I have been doing the past 4 years. And I will be willing to sit with any group of people that would want to help us as Gambians to create these companies that will make a difference. If I have my way, I will not issue any license to any foreign vessel. But unfortunately, this is the kind of situation that we have. Anyway, I think your idea is a good idea. My staff colleagues are listening. When we have our strategic meetings, we can bring it on the table and begin to plan. So that at least, but I can assure you, this 400 million will not be enough. I can tell you that for sure. Let's see. I think we should try to do what we can. I don't believe in just saying, let's do this when we know it's not possible. Let us try to look at the possibility and together we do it. This is our Gambia. And we want the best for this country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much. I think that was the key element. 12% of GDP with only employment of 2,809. What is really responsible for that? That a huge productive base claimed, but it is not promoting employment. So it means that it is benefiting others and not us. That is the key thing. But what makes this National Assembly to really call the Honorable Minister here is a crisis situation, where social media showing hungry Gambian people who cannot get fish that we have in abundance, yet our people are dying up there. They cannot eat a single morsel of fish. That was the dilemma. And that is the dilemma, Honorable Minister, you are called upon to address. It shows that there is no organization. Don't you agree? Who were the operators that brought the fish? Unreported. Do you have a system where those who land the fish record what is landed? And then who process the fish? Is there a linkage in that processing? This is when you will know the challenges. You will know the pressures, you will know the gaps. And for 4 years, those gaps would have been filled if from the very beginning that reporting system was in place. Do you agree that there is no reporting system, and do you intend to put a reporting system in place so that we do not have such a scenario arising again, Honorable Minister?
Honorable Member, I am sorry, I will disagree with you that we don't have a system. In every landing site, we have a committee, and we have 3 staff that are recording the catches. In fact, we are about to employ again 3 people to go and take statistics every day. Now, this fish we are talking about, unfortunately, has very little value. And that is why most people don't buy it. We want to create, and that is why you see what we are landing. The fish we are landing, we are giving it to Gambians to sell to the local market. And we are giving it to them at FOB price, so that fish will get everywhere in the country. And people who live up country will confirm that they see people who are in this business going up country selling fish. Now, we cannot supply every Gambian fish. That's not the role of us. We think that could be done by private sector. And that is why we are encouraging them to be more involved. The second issue is we talk about pricing. We all know what kind of economy we have in this country. It's demand and supply. You don't have a price control. Now, if you have your fish and somebody is willing to pay you $2,000, will you sell it for $1,000? You don't. And those are the realities that we have to face every day. When people are free to come to the fish landing site and buy fish, we cannot tell the fishermen, sell it at this price. Because the law does not allow us to do that. Price control is no longer in this country. We sympathize that fish is not enough for everybody. But I know some of us do go to the landing sites. They don't only go to the market. But sometimes you go to the market, you don't get fish. Sometimes you go to the landing sites. And Honorable Member, what is funny, which we all hear every day, the last time there was no fish in the market, and social media went out on a tangent. Unfortunately, most of the stories in social media are not true. I went to the stadium for my exercise. A young man came to me and said, Uncle James. I said, yes. He said, ma fag na ñu ne jën amul te ñu la doon coow ma ne yes. Mu ne but man gis naa gaa yi ci yoon bi sax ñu ngi jaay jën waaye kenn waxu la ne jën dafa bari. That's human nature in us. We can complain. Some of those social media tapes, we took it on ourselves to find out where it came from. And thank God, you can find out who was the first person to post a story in social media. And we came to find out that all of them were not posted in the Gambia. When you even listen to the language they speak, it's not Gambian. But people put it in social media and say this was in the Gambia. Those who live where we have the landing sites would tell you, if there was a problem, they would, every day they would see it and they will call our attention. It's not there. That is why No, yes, I agree. That is why I said we have to do something about this. I told you that. We don't like this happening. But the day it happened, there was a coincidence that they didn't have enough ice. So the people cannot, we all know, yabo is oily and highly perishable. You keep it, you cannot keep it. So the people who are there, when they buy enough, they cannot buy more. But we have put a strategy now to see how we can avoid this in the future. Because when we get the signal, we know what we are going to do. But like I said, we regret that this happened in Tangi, and we hope it will not happen again.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kiang Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your statement, you suddenly made a series of challenges in terms of inadequate registration of fishing vessels, enforcement of law. Do you have a short plan to address this problem? And then the second thing is the EU Sustainable Fisheries Agreement. Don't you think it's high time for us to review the agreement?
Better?
To review the agreement and then see what is in the best interest of the Gambia. The period is a long one. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure I get you properly. What did you say?
The EU-Gambia fisheries agreement, to review the agreement and then see, to review it.
For your first question, I can assure you that we have a strategic plan. And in our strategic plan, we are trying to address all these issues. And that is why we talk about capacity building. You need personnel to be able to do a lot of things. And we are investing a lot in trying to train our personnel. As far as the EU agreement is concerned, it's a 6-year agreement. But it is reviewed annually. We will review it and see what is working. And let us remember, the agreement is for only 2 species. And they don't come near our waters. They are deep sea fishing. So there is protection for Gambia in that agreement. But annually, we meet and look at what went right and what went wrong, and correct what went right and what went wrong. If in the course of implementation we find that Gambia should no longer continue, we will do so. And that is why we are part of the Sub-Regional Fisheries Organization. We are looking at a situation where all of us, the 5 countries, will sign one agreement with EU. But now, as it happens, Senegal will sign one, Mauritania will sign one, Sierra Leone will sign one, Guinea-Bissau will sign one, Gambia will sign one. We are looking at the possibility of having one agreement for the sub-region.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Birkama South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, thank you for the excellent report. If you look at your ministry, this particular sector, the contribution to the GDP, which is 12%, and we all agree is another productive sector of our economy, ranked 3rd after agriculture and tourism. Are you ready as a ministry to invest through the annual appropriation by using your select committee to lobby so as to buy trawlers and enter youths into the PPP format? After that also, the 14,000 artisanal operatives that exclude young women and youths. Do you have an inventory of these youths? Because I want to believe that they are also getting another source of income. And I happen to be part of the Select Committee on Government Monitoring Project. We went on a tour, and we have seen a lot of these fish ponds outside. But there is serious unavailability of fingerlings, which is a serious problem. And I don't know what your ministry is doing about that. Only creating ponds without fingerlings is like a white elephant project. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, of course, I want to say that we are doing our best to provide enough fingerlings. And this is the project we are doing with IMO to involve more young people and women. And I talked about the 2 fish mills that we have. And this place near Kamalo, they have started producing now. Now, we are negotiating with the Minister of Finance, because if the cost is too high, then the products will be very high. So we are looking at a possibility where we can have a holiday, or tax holidays for these people on so many tons, so that at least they can be able to have this. Now, as regards our future plan, of course, we do hope that this revenue that is generated will be spent wisely. That is why we argued in Cabinet that though it is consolidated revenue, it should be ring-fenced to address fisheries issues. I'm hoping that what comes out of our strategy for next year will include a lot of strategies that will make a difference. And we are hoping that the Minister of Finance will allow us to use those funds to be able to address the issues that are lacking in the industry.
Honourable Member for Woolly East. I give you the floor. Let me just say that as we all know, we go by our standing orders, and time allocated therein is 1 hour, and we commence the question and answer session at 11:35. It's almost after 12 now, and I have about 21 honorable members. No, I'm just giving you the statistics so that we will know how to ask the question. Let it be direct to allow almost everybody be given an opportunity. I don't want to deny anybody. Of course, I will go by the standing orders depending on other businesses to extend the time. But that notwithstanding, let us all bear that in mind. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think that's reasonable. Honorable Minister, I thank you for the statement. It's highly welcome. The issue I want to raise is the complaint from the Gambia fish vendors. Fish vendors, what they are saying is they have serious difficulty. They agreed that there is a lot of fish is being caught, but then the problem is to get ice block. The refrigerated trucks that are going up country, because my brothers are in the business, the refrigerated trucks that are going up the country lack these ice blocks. And what they are saying is that in their own explanation, they feel that they are being discriminated because those who produce the ice block, they say are not Gambians, and they are giving priority to Senegalese over them. Because in Senegal, the river is blocked. They are stopping the fishing in their river for now. And they are saying all the Senegalese fishermen are now coming to the Gambia to do the fishing. So there is enough fish, but then the problem is ice block. Secondly, I also want to raise the issue because I'm very confused.
You did not ask the question. You made a statement of fact. And you relate
yes, he understands. He will respond to that fact. The thing is that we have 3 fish meal factories. One is in Carton, which requires 1,500, I think it's 500 tons. The other one in Gujur also requiring 500 tons. So the one in Sanyang is requiring 2,500 tons, according to our investigation. So is it that after all these fish mills take what is required, what they require, these yai boys still remain on the beach? Is that what you are telling us? That's what I want you to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think you will recall, lamented the absence of Gambians in this industry. It is very important that we talk to our young men and women to get involved. Fisheries is a skill. You must learn how to fish, and you make a lot of money. The reason why other nationals are coming to the Gambia is because they are making money. But we have to encourage our own people, our young people, to get involved. And that's the only solution. Now, the fish mills have to be explained. When we came into office, when I was appointed, I find that we had 12 approvals for fish mills. Scientifically, we can have 5. I decided to reduce all of them to 3 to see the impact. I came to find out that the fish meal factories, they used to buy in the local market and they used to have a lot of problems. So they decided now they will issue out contracts. So they don't deal with the local market anymore. They give out contracts to fishermen and they say we want X tons. And they would provide those for them. I had to intervene one time when I said, you must give contract to Gambians. And they told me plainly, we want to, but these contracts we have, we agree with them. If there is enough fish, we are going to buy on this price. If there is less fish, we are going to buy on this price. The other people will accept, but the government says, no, we must negotiate that every time we come, the price changes. They don't have a guarantee of supply. So what they are doing, they are having contracts. I am happy that some Gambians are involved in that contract. They buy the fish from them, and the local market is left with the local market. You see, what we must always understand, there is a chain of beneficiaries in this fisheries industry. You have the women who are cooking to sell to the laborers. You have the laborers. You have the taxi drivers who will transport people back and forth. They all have a stake in this industry. So when we want to do something, we always have to consider how it will affect their lives. You talk about closing of the sea. I initiated that. Before I came, there was nothing. When COVID came, even the chief came to me and said, if you close, our people will suffer. So last year I said August. This year I said, it has reduced, let us do it in July. Because when you do this, take these decisions, you consider holistic a lot of issues, not only the interest of one section of the industry. I am trying, we are trying as a ministry and a department to bring these people together so that they see a better use of the catches. But it's difficult. Because like you said, the foreigners have their interest is money, they are here to make money. And for us to stop that, we must get Gambians to be involved. And I'm hoping, we are trying, this strategy we have of giving boats. We have even one of the boats is for teaching of Gambians to be fishermen. We will continue doing that to encourage more young people to be part of this. We are happy, for example, with the people in Banjul and another group in Bakau. There are Gambians that are involved and they are doing some good business. We are happy about that. We hope we can multiply this and make a big difference.
Thank you very much. Nominated member, Honorable Jaite.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, I'll take you right back to the main issue that brought us here today. The issue of the Sardinina fish, the Yabwe and the Tanje land inside. You have said that you are developing strategies. In all your answers, I don't find anything tangible. I really want to know, what would you do if something like this, for example, happens tomorrow? What is the strategy in place right now if something like this would happen tomorrow again? You also said in your answer that the Yaboi fish is not very valuable, and I disagree. Because Yaboi fish is what is used to make most of the time catcher. And this catcher, I've been in this business before, and this is the fish business that paid my fees throughout my studies in the UK. And this catcher goes for £7 then at the time, this was 2010, 2011, per kilo. 1,000 kilos would give you £7,000. It's a lot of money. If there was a storage facilities where this could be kept, and the women involved in this business would be giving this fish, and they can process it and export it, that is a lot of income for the country and for those women. So if this should happen again, what is the strategy in place right now that would stop this from happening, that would avoid the loss? And the other part is the Senegalo-Gambia agreement. You said when it was coming into force, there was no parliament. So how did it become an agreement? Because it is not an agreement unless it is ratified by parliament. So how come you are implementing an agreement that is not even an agreement? And we've had this discussion before, and I've urged you to bring this agreement to Parliament so one could ratify it. Because it is illegal what you're doing right now. There is no agreement according to law. So really, I want you to give us tangible, and throughout your answers you were saying, we would like Gambians to come, the private business people to come and invest. What exactly are you doing to encourage this after 4 years, nearly 5 years? Something tangible that you have done to say, we have made this money, this much money out of fishing. Let us give this to Gambians, encourage them to be involved. What is the tangible things you have done? That is what I want to know, because I'm really not convinced with all these excuses back.
I respect your opinion. Our opinions may differ, which is just normal. I said in this house that 2.5 years ago, we had a similar situation in Gunju, and we were able to address it, and we put in a strategy that people don't go to sea the same time. Since that time, it didn't happen. The Tangier incident is unfortunate, because when it happened, there was no ice available. By the time we know what was going on, the spoilage has happened. That is why we are saying now, we are going to back, I said it in my statement, we are going back to the arrangement that people don't go out to sea on the same day. In addition to that, we are going to talk to the people who are doing ice, because we know it's a big problem.
Madam Speaker, if I can just clarify for this question to be answered once and for all.
Sorry.
I just want to clarify my question so he understands, so he can answer it once and for all. Just a point of...
See, if you make a long preamble, by the time you get to the question, it's gone. So
okay, so let me just clarify, because this issue is really important. My question is, if the incident should happen again tomorrow, what is the strategy in place? It's not we are talking to the women about ice, we are talking. What can you do? What is the strategy right now that if this incident happens again tomorrow, we will not suffer those losses?
That's very simple. I told you that we have a strategy of people not going to sea at the same time. That's one. Two, if it does happen, members of the committees will call each other to say there is fish here and people can go and buy. Unfortunately, when this happened, that didn't happen. It happened on the evening. There was no ice and people were not called to come and buy. When the people who were there bought everything they could, unfortunately, they cannot keep it. Now, if you have a strategy and say, don't do this, and it worked, the next strategy is, if you have a bumper harvest, you must call all the landing sites and inform them. You must call all the vendors.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes?
Yes, clause 32B.
Order?
Clause 32B. Honorable Speaker, clause 32B. Yes, permissible interruption. To elucidate on a point of clarification. So I want the Honorable Minister to clarify something for me, if you permit.
You said?
I said to elucidate on a point of clarification. So I want something to be clarified by me, if you permit me, ma'am.
So the Honorable, with all due respect, the Honorable Minister is responding to a question.
Yes, it's true that. It's
no,
true that
respond. Let him respond to the. If you want to ask a question, you have all rights to ask. Your name is on the list, I think.
Yeah, I know the Honorable Speaker, but this is a point. Thank you.
Overrule the question. Thank you, Honorable. Can you?
Well, see, like I said, a strategy is in place that if this should occur again, it will not happen this way. And I've told this House, even in my report, one step that we had agreed over 2.5 years ago. And now when this thing happened, we are working together to develop a strategy that we will share with all the committees, each landing site, that when there's something happen like this, make sure the other landing sites know so that they can come and buy the fish. Now, as regards ice, we are not in the private sector. There is a very limited control that we have in that. We will continue to encourage. And let me say this, encouraging people doesn't mean that you force them to do something. People have their money to invest. All I can do is to say on radio and television, I only got one Gambian who now has come and bought 2 trawlers since I started 4 years ago to encourage Gambians to be involved. And I'm happy about that. And I'm hoping more Gambians will join him. But it doesn't mean that when I say it here, tomorrow I will see droves of Gambians coming to join. No, I don't think it works that way, because it deals with financing. I talk about the cost of fuel. I talk about interest rates. When you want to go to business, you want to make money. You don't go into the business to lose money. And so when we call, we expect the Gambians to answer to the call, come to us, and we see how best we can support them.
Thank you very much. Again, let's bear in mind the time factor. We've exceeded our 1 hour, but I said in view of the fact that there are quite a number of honorable members who want to ask questions, I will use my discretion to extend the time. But please, let us also be realistic, give an opportunity to everybody. Thank you. Honorable member for Kiang East.
My question is not
please.
answered. The Senegal-Gambia agreement part was omitted. I said, I asked the question in relation to the agreement, the Senegal-Gambia agreement.
It must have been your first question then.
Yes, he omitted. It was omitted. He didn't respond.
That's why I said that if the preamble is long, by the time you come to respond, it would have escaped your mind. So, Honorable, I think she raised a question with regards to the agreement.
You see, I think we sometimes forget. This is not the first time I'm talking about the Senegal-Gambian in this house. And I promised I was getting my staff to bring it to the appropriate committee for discussion. Unfortunately, it is now at the end of the agreement. Now it's time to renew the agreement. I will again say it, we will give you a copy, and once we look at a new agreement, it will follow the due process that Parliament will look at it and address it.
Equally, to just bear in mind again that probably if a question has been asked, maybe there is no need to repeat it, just to save time. Honorable member for Kiang East, is it? Yes, Kiang East.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Honorable Minister for Fisheries, for the report. However, the report failed to capture one of the major issues that is affecting the fishing sector, which is, of course, the activities of foreign activities in our waters. The report is completely silent on it, and I would like to know what your ministry can do to halt or at least minimize the negative impacts of the of foreign activities in our waters, because there is a public outcry about environmental problems that are caused by the activities of Chinese, the overfishing, and consequently fish shortages. What is your ministry doing to curb those problems? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I have said in my report that we now have a VMS system that tells us anybody who comes into our waters. The licenses that we issue out to people is based on nautical miles. That you can fish from 9 to 12, or you can fish from 7 to 8 from artisanal. So anytime somebody makes a wrong infringement, we are able to know here in the office. And we are working with the Navy so they can do the necessary arrest, and then we will follow due process and do what is Issuing out a license is very clear. When we issue license, we tell you this is the area you can only fish. If you fish outside that area, you are committing a crime. I can assure you that we are keeping to this. Now, particularly, since we have the VMS, we have transponders fitted in all the vessels that we are licensing. And we can tell any time, any day, where they are. And the speed of the trawler tells us whether they are fishing or they are not fishing. So we are doing everything possible to make sure that we minimize those damages in our waters.
Yes, thank you very much. Janjambure, Honorable Member for Janjambure.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, how is this report in relation to rural fishing?
How?
Your report, how is it in relation to rural fishing? Fishing in the rural areas, considering that we have been receiving a lot of complaints from our rural fishermen that there are foreigners who are using improper gears in the rural areas. My second concern is, I was in Bakau to buy fish, and the type of bong that they were bringing were so small, and I asked whether there was a fisheries officer, and you'll be surprised to hear what they say, that even if they bring whatever, the fisheries officer would not say anything about it. So if you are not aware, this is an information that I'm giving you.
Thank you. Well, Honorable Member, I talked about rural fishing, and I talked about illegal fishing that is happening there. We are even looking into a provision that we don't allow foreign fishermen to come and fish in the rural area. But, like I said, it has some implications. Because of our membership of ECOWAS, we have to be very careful when we legislate. We are looking into this, and I said it in my report. It's one of the harmful practices that is happening in IUU. We hope we will have the cooperation. But I think you also know that whatever we have tried to do is always frustrated by Gambians. Because when these foreign fishermen come to the village, they go and get a njatigi, and they will give fish to the njatigi and whatever every day. So when they commit a crime, it's difficult for the community because the njatigi is always a high-level person. It's difficult for the community to do something. But these are the realities of life. And of course, you know, our staff, they also have a limit. We respect adults and elders. So there is a limit to what we can do. But that's why we are saying we are going to see whether we can stop them from coming. I think that would be the best if we can have a moratorium for 1-2 years, if we can do it, because we have to be advised by the Justice Minister whether that is possible or not. If we can do it, that would be the best move we think can happen.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member nominated Neyasin.
Thank you very much, Ma. Honorable Minister, in his report, he stated about the this fish being spoiled, and then what mechanisms are put in place in case those fishes are spoiled? Because here, the fish, you can use it either way. Even if it is spoiled, you can do something about it. Are there any mechanisms put in place? Because if you go to other countries, even the shrimps, you take up the shell and you dry it and you powder it and then you do it with something. The same thing happens to these fish, especially the yaboy. So what mechanisms are put in place?
Thank you, Honorable Member. The mechanisms in place is that the people who are involved in drying fish, the people who are involved in smoking fish would buy this fish, and also it will be taken to the local market and it will be transported up country. I explained that what happened in Tanje was a one-off, and we hope it will not happen again. But these are the strategies. But when the people who are buying to make business tells you, I cannot buy more, you don't have a choice. And preserving the yaboy I am not a woman. I know it's very difficult. Because if you don't have enough ice, you are in trouble. And that is why we had, unfortunately, this incident.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Salum. Upper Salum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for this comprehensive state of affairs of the ministry, particularly the Fisheries Department. I think the economic aspect of what's going on at the ministry is very clear, and my question actually is the other way, which is about sustainability. What are some of the policies you have in place to ensure we don't have overfishing in our waters by ourselves or by others who are asked or who are licensed to do so? Like really to avoid over-exploitation of our waters. What are some of the policies that you actually have in place to ensure that there is no over-exploitation and also there is kind of rebound in the fishing in our waters? Thank you.
I said in the report that we have annual surveys. We have an agreement with FAO and Dr. Frederick Nansen that come into our waters and make a survey and advise us on an annual basis that this is the quality and quantity of fish that you have. That will also determine how many licenses we issue out. We are not working blindly. We get the scientific reports on an annual basis, which helps us determine how we issue out licenses. And to a large extent, we have been very successful. Now, the difference between the other species, which are very valuable species, and the yaboi is there. The majority of people going to sea don't want those fishes because of the value. They go for the bigger ones. And that is why we are very careful. When you go into our high waters, you will see the limit of vessels that are fishing there. And that is done for conservation. And we will continue monitoring, but the best thing would have been if we have this fisheries inspection boat that we can give to the Navy. So they will be at the mouth of the river to protect us. When they see people coming and when they see them doing illegal things, they can arrest them. As of now, we don't have that capacity. I think the Navy can only go out to sea for 12 hours. That's not good enough. We are wanting a situation where they can go out to sea for 3 weeks. So they will be there now. Once people see them there, they won't come. And they won't do bad practices. But because we are not there every day, that is the big problem we have.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Brikama North.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, the Minister did inform the House Assembly that the fishery sector has 3 sectors. The key, that is the industrial sector, is described to be capital intensive. By that, a total of 12 fishing processing establishments and 3 fish meal plants are established. My questions are, how many of these are Gambian-owned and managed? And under what terms and conditions would they operate, taking into consideration the effect on the environment? And since 2017, do you receive adverse complaints on their operation or the environmental concerns from the communities? If so, what action had your ministry taken to address those concerns?
Madam Speaker, I cannot, off the cuff, give you the statistics of how many companies are Gambian-owned or not. I know some of them have Gambian partners, but I cannot give you the statistics. But as regards to environmental issues, I can assure you that on an annual basis, the licenses are issued on an annual basis. And before you renew your license, the Environment Department will give you a license. The water department will give you a certificate. The water department will give you a certificate. That is what helps us ascertain whether you are really keeping the rules and regulations of the operation. As we speak, it's quite a while, and I thank God, that we have not received any adverse report in any of these operations that are happening.
Honorable Member for Jimara.
Thank you very much, Ma. Honorable Speaker, last year or year before last, I asked a question whether there is an agreement between Gambia. When I say agreement, I mean a fishing agreement between Gambia and Senegal. But your answer was no. And today you are here standing before us telling us that the agreement is about to expire and it will be brought back to this parliament for review. I don't know why, in fact, are you standing there misleading the Gambians, Honorable Minister?
I am very sorry. If we were outside, I would say you withdraw that word. I am not misleading anybody. In this house, I confirm that we have an agreement with Senegal. The first visit of our president when he was elected, we went to Senegal. It was at that visit that we agreed we will have this agreement. And I told this house that yes, there exists an agreement. What we didn't do at that point was to bring it to Parliament because there was no Parliament. So we signed it, unbeknown to the rules and regulations. So when I came here, I said, I am asking my staff colleagues to bring the agreement to you. I have never said in this house that there is no agreement between us and Senegal.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, anything that is stated.
Yes, can you first of all refer me to the relevant clause?
That is, Honorable Speaker, the issue here is about constitution. When the constitution is not properly stated here.
It's very simple. Just cite the provision.
Honorable Speaker, let's make it point of clarification then.
Honorable,
Let's make
can
it.
you just refer me to the... okay.
It's just point of clarification. I think it's better, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to mislead the National Assembly. But the essence here is the constitutional position.
No, you see, you said you are raising a point of order. I said yes. Can you just refer me to the clause so that I can equally be... I'll have a look at it and see.
Section 79 of the Constitution, Honorable Speaker.
Yes? That's all I needed. Yes?
Honorable Speaker, Section 79 is actually saying that, may I read? It says that the President shall be responsible for the conduct of relations with other states and international organizations, the reception of envoys accredited to the Gambia, and the appointment of the principal representative of the Gambia abroad. The negotiation, the emphasis, Honorable Speaker, and subject to ratification by the National Assembly, the conclusion of treaties and other international agreements. No international agreement can be concluded without ratification by the National Assembly. It can begin, you can sign, but unless it is ratified, it is not law. That is the position of the Constitution. That is why it is said that agreement is not law.
I think the point was raised earlier on with regards to this particular agreement with Senegal. I can't remember who raised it, but it was raised. And I cannot also remember what transpired subsequent to that, but I know that it was raised. Probably if we go through our Hansard records, we may be able to. Honorable Minister. Who was the last? No, it was Jimara. No, it was Jimara. Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think an answer will be provided for every question. But in the first place, I want to agree with the honorable member who made the request that we either had a hard work committee on this issue or the Environment Committee and any other relevant committee to join them and look into this report. Because there are so many things in this report. Probably a very short question and short answer may not be able to solve the problem. But my issue, Honorable Speaker, is the monitoring. What are the monitoring mechanisms that you have, both in the ocean and the inland? Yes, you've mentioned it in the report that you have VMS. I don't know. But what about the Gambian River, where there is the only place where the fish has to go for breeding? That's where we can get young fishes that will later migrate to the ocean. Do you have a very comprehensive monitoring system in the Gambian River? And the other question is, you've made it very clear that this agreement...
But please, can you ask a direct question? You
Okay,
know, there are so many...
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
No, we cannot take statements.
Okay.
There are others who want to ask questions.
The 2,809 employees that are created by the agreement, who are their employers and who pays them? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, the VMS system sees the whole Gambia and beyond. I said here up to Cape Verde. Anything that is happening in our waters now, we know from our office. And we do this monitoring with the Navy. Navy have also people up country, that if we see something happening which is wrong, the Navy will go there. I think some members will bear me out that things have happened before in our different communities, and the navies were able to go and fix it. So the monitoring system now that we have is very, very efficient. What we don't have yet is the vessel that will go out to sea for a long time. Now, as regards the payment, obviously the employer pays the employee. If you are working in a boat, the agent of the boat will pay you. And that is what is happening everywhere.
Thank you very much. Lower Badibu, Honorable Member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Honorable Minister. In his statement, he said they annually meet with the EU fishing agreement issue to see what went wrong and what went right. I would like him to share with us what are the things that went right and what are the things that went wrong. Again, Honorable Minister, would you agree with this Honorable House that the agreement that you yourself have said you have made with Senegal through your ministry, would you be able to bring that agreement before this House for ratification, or we move for a motion to stop the Senegalese from fishing our water? What is your position in that? What would you take? Thank you.
I fully agree, having listened to what was said here, that an agreement, unless ratified by Parliament, is not an agreement. So I consider that is an infringement at the moment. And I will make sure that I will liaise with the Minister of Justice to see that we do the right thing. I apologize because we have discussed this thing over and over here. And I was still maintaining that we have an agreement, but we had the agreement before Parliament came into being. But now I am quite sure that there is need for us to bring that agreement to you and I promise we are going to do exactly that. The second point you raised, I can't remember. Sorry, yes, okay. The annual reviews. Annual reviews touches on the different aspects of the agreement.
Yeah, he can.
Madam Speaker, the honourable member raised an important issue and supported by, as previously alluded by honourable member for Serekunda. If the agreement is not legit, then should this August Assembly not ask the minister to ask the Senegalese to stop fishing immediately? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Minister, you were responding to Honourable Member for Lower Badu.
My question was, Honourable Speaker, is
with you. Was your question answered?
The EU. That's what I explained. That the EU agreement is annually reviewed. You have the sections of the agreement that says, for example, the support they are giving us, structural support that they are giving us. If we don't spend 70% by October, we will not receive additional funds until we spend the money. And also, we have indicated what we are going to use the money for, whether it's for capacity building, whether it's for employing more people, etc., training, etc. That is what is looked at. And if there is an infringement by the boats out at sea, fortunately, there have not been any major issue for the past 2 years.
Thank you. Honourable Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you, Ma. Honourable Minister, in your presentation, you made mention among the concerns raised, poor sanitary conditions, which is concern for the public. What is your ministry's, so may your ministry elaborate on mitigations or how you intend to handle these sanitary issues within the fisheries industry? And also...
Excuse me, sorry, let me just interrupt. Please, honourable members, I think you need to be fair to the chair. My aides were helping to take down the list, so I can only go by the list. If for some reason there are omissions, I cannot be held responsible for it. I'll just look at it and then I'll draw their attention. Check the list. If they are not there, I cannot capture everybody. So that is why they are here to support. So let's exercise patience. Everybody will have a chance. No, continue with your question.
And the other thing is that what is your relationship with the Ministry of Environment in collaboration to bring up environmental friendly fishing activities within the fishing industry? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, as far as sanitary is concerned, we are continually monitoring this. We are actually, with the ECOWAS project, trying to improve sanitary facilities in all the landing sites because the number of people are large sometimes and to cope is not easy. We are doing that. As regards our cooperation with the Minister of Environment, we have a straight line with the Minister of Environment on a daily basis. Because like I said, we cannot approve any application without them giving us the okay. Once we give an approval, the next thing that would happen is for the Minister of Environment to go and make the check and confirm that they are in good standing before we can give them a license. So we have a direct line of working relationship between us and the Minister of Environment.
Thank you very much. Sabah Sanjal.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think my first concern was raised by the Honorable Member of Salem. Now, I will just pose a direct question. Honorable Minister, hearing from you, we learned that the sector is not being taken up by the Gambia. It's dominated by foreigners. What is stopping, or what is the problem? What are the reasons Gambians are not coming up or taking up the sector right now? And during the period when these excessive fish were spoiled, we can observe that the markets were without fish. I don't know what is the problem when we have enough fish there and the market buckets are without fish. What are the challenges in this case?
Well, I'm not sure I can answer this question, because when I make a call and say I want Gambians to get involved, and I make it publicly at the National Assembly, I am expecting Gambians to get involved. We used to have a weekly program, and we always make this call. Why they are not coming, I don't know. But sometimes it may mean capital. And I said in my report that money is expensive because of the rate of exchange. That is maybe one reason, but I cannot give you any reason why. As regards the fish the market not having fish, again, I cannot tell you, because these middlemen who are buying fish and selling, they sell for better profit. So we cannot control, the Fisheries Department cannot control that. They will go and sell where they have a better profit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Olyundum. Oh, yes, it's Olyundum, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, it's a concern that the establishment and activities of fish meal plants has become a major cause for social tension within the coast. And your ministry is responsible in giving out licenses for the establishment of the fish meal plants, as mentioned on the report. Is it a requirement for the fish meal plants to have a functional liquid waste treatment plant before they start any processing? And if they do not have that, what is your ministry doing with regards?
I have said here before that even if I don't like the fish meal plants, there is nothing I can do, because these fish meal plants were established before our government came. And there are rules and regulations that governs a company. And I don't think any one of us will encourage against going out for litigation and paying a lot of money. But what is really cardinal in this? Annually, the Environment Office and the Water Office will give certification to these people. I recall maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, when there was a problem at the fish mill, dealing with the water plant, the water treatment plant. The fish mill was closed by the environment until they erected a water treatment plant. So if there is any issue, sometimes what is sad is that people say what they want and they put it out there. And some of us think it is true and we want people to act on them. We cannot do that. If somebody can give us a report, we will automatically send people to go out and verify. And if it is true, we will take action. But frankly, I have said here in this house, we cannot run an office by social media, because everything that is happening out there, if you want to deal with on a daily basis, you will not do your work. But I will ask again, if anybody knows of any incident, please let us know. We will send our appropriate staff to go and check, and we will remedy the situation.
Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable
Minister, in your response, you highlighted some constraints, which I expect answers of your plans to mitigate those constraints. But I want to pick one, that is the surveillance, the issue of surveying the sea. In that regard, I want to ask your ministry's collaboration with the Navy. Do you have any practical collaboration with the Navy to do those work for you? Yes, you have those materials to see all over the country, the sea, but if there is ill practice in the sea, how do you catch up with that? Your relationship with Navy. The whole assembly is talking about Gambians being involved into it, and you are saying you have been calling. I want to adduce that probably the environment that you are offering to Gambians are not that much appreciative to Gambians to come in. Wouldn't it be better you reconsider and have an assessment of the environment, because that's your job, that's the responsibility of your ministry, to create an environment, enable environment for investors, more especially Gambians, to come and take up the fishery industry as a trade. Because if you look at 12% of the GDP is provided by fishing industry, and few Gambians are involved in it. Probably the environment that you are creating is not conducive to Gambians. I want to would you consider to have that analysis? And then in that, wouldn't it be also better?
You cannot ask 4 questions at the same time.
No, I ask only one question.
No, you
please.
will deprive others, please.
Madam Speaker, others are having questions here, serious questions. I'm asking my questions. What is the problem, Madam Speaker? Allow me to ask the question. I asked only 2 questions. 2. It's not a matter of. Okay, please allow me, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me, please. Please allow me one more question. One question, please. Madam Speaker, Honorable Minister, the issue that brought all this for your calling here is the controversial issues that we are seeing in the breach. And then you mentioned it, some are not in the Gambia, but the one that brought us here has happened in Tangi. You've confirmed to that. And then you said you have plans to avoid it. I want to know, how do you solve that issue that had happened in Tangi? How was it solved? Thank you very much.
I want to confirm that we have collaboration with the Navy. In fact, in our policy, when we arrest a vessel and the vessel is fined, 40% of the fine goes to the Navy to help them. So we have very close collaboration with the Navy. Your questions that deals with what we are going to do. And I have said it here again over and over. It will be a repetition. We do not want these things to happen. But you cannot plan for it. When you look at the word fishing, you begin to understand that in fishing, today you can go and you don't catch anything. Tomorrow you can go and you catch a lot. The third day you go and you catch nothing. This is the nature of the business. So if we knew that that thing was going to happen in Tangi, I can assure you we would have solved it before it happened. But we didn't know it was going to happen. And that is the problem.
No, honorable member.
What is the question again?
No, please respect my decision. Honorable member for Jara.
No, the minister is on his, no, he doesn't finish my question. I said the way he is answering, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
I think I asked about 3 questions.
Yeah.
But the way he wants to answer the question, you have been saying that one. I said, how do you solve the issue?
I will take the last one.
How do you solve? That was the last question. Yes.
Honorable, I think for me the very important question is the issue of the, is it the spoilage?
Probably
what transpired at
yes.
at Tangi.
Yes.
And that is the reason, the main reason mark my words, the main reason why the Honorable Minister is summoned here. So let him respond to that question.
No, he is trying to say to avoid it. I said no. If he's going to answer my question, how do you solve that incident? How was it solved? That's what I want. Not to avoid, yes.
Honorable.
Yes. Let me say this again. This thing happened on Friday the 18th. I said in my report, we have a lot of spoilage and that is regretted. So how can we solve it other than it is spoiled? That is what exactly happened. There was a bumper harvest. People bought what they can, and what they could not buy, they left it there. And it gets spoiled. I don't know what other answer I can give.
I think the question they are asking, the honorable members are asking is, what strategies do you have in place to avoid? What was your question? What was the question? You see, you're taking too much time.
Oh, sorry for that. Sorry, I want clarity. I'm sorry for that, but I want clarity. Honorable Minister, from your answer, or from what you're trying to explain, you are telling us that the spoiled fish are now still lying along the ocean. What do you do with those fish? That's what I want to know.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm not understanding. When this thing happened on Friday, and we saw those pictures, on Saturday morning, we dispatched our officers to go not only to Tangier, to all the fish landing sites to check. When they came back, they gave us a report that it was only in Tangier. And the spoiled fish, what they did was to dig a hole and put it there.
It's only in Tangier. I was in Gunjur on Saturday.
Thank you.
Please,
Thank you.
can I help
Let us
the
not
minister?
just jump up.
Can I help the minister?
Let's respect the decorum. Thank you. Honorable member for Jara Central. Jara Central? Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, I would want to know what is your ministry doing in addressing the issue of the irresponsible fishing methods. Thank you.
Well, IUU is always a big problem, not only for the Gambia, but for the whole world. And you have strategies. The VMS is one. You need to have a fisheries inspection vessel that would go the length and breadth of the country and stay out there to make sure that people... Then we have the inland fishing issue. I've said the inland fishing issue, we are looking at remedies, one of which will be to have a moratorium that we don't allow them to come, but that has legal implications. When we finalize this with the Minister of Justice, we will bring it to Parliament and get it legislated. So we cannot just say don't come, because like I said, we have other agreements that we must honor, agreements like what we have with ECOWAS.
Thank you. Fonyi Bintankaran Lai.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister do inform us that the EU agreement is only about 2 species and they fish in deep waters. My question is, do you have any mechanism or capacity in monitoring those fishing vessels in deep waters? And if yes, can you tell us what type of monitoring? And if no, why do you go into an agreement whereby you know you cannot monitor?
Well, when you go into an agreement, you monitor from day one. We employ observers in these vessels. They observe the catches and they send their returns to us. They send their returns to EU. When this House considered this agreement, it was clear. We even agreed on the tonnage and say if they catch less, they will not pay us. If they catch more, they will pay. So all these vessels that are licensed, on a daily basis, the observer will give us indication as to what the catches are. That's how you monitor any fisheries agreement that you have.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Talinding.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, going through your answer, you mentioned that you confined some fishermen into shift base so that recurrence will not happen. Did your ministry have any other plan to revoke the license of fishermen whose negligence such happen? 2, you mentioned some donor partners like EU, FAO, among others, who are supporting your line ministry to complement your effort. And looking at the self-gain revenue of your ministry under license and some other arrest vessels, do you have any plan to invest more in the fishing sector?
Additional fisheries, as I said in the report, is difficult to monitor. Unfortunately, the law that gives us power to register vessels, and other law has given power to Gambia Maritime to register vessels. We are now discussing with them how do we merge these responsibilities rather than us doing it and them doing it. Because Maritime will charge a fee. We are doing it so that we will know what the catches are. So at the moment, we don't have the data as to how many artisanal fisheries we have. Now, if we are sure that somebody creates an offense, we are definitely going to take action. And at the moment, we don't have that information. Because you see, what has happened in Tangier, like I said, could have happened anywhere. And because we didn't expect it to happen, you are not going to penalize somebody that they catch a lot of fish. When, if, for example, yesterday they caught it and they were able to sell it, today they catch it and they are not able to sell it, you cannot penalize them for that. Now, as regards our strategy, I hope we can discuss our strategic plan, because we think, and it was said in this house, this industry can make a big difference for the Gambia, provided we put in place the right strategies. The right strategies are expensive, they are not easy, but we are looking at the priority areas and start to do them gradually. So the ministry, the department is very interested that we generate more resources from the industry than we are actually having at the present moment.
Honorable members, we still have quite a number, about 8 or 9 interventions, and I want to, at this point, just to suspend the sitting for about half an hour, take a short break, and we resume. I think it's only fair. Thank you. So the sitting is suspended. We resume at quarter to 2. Thank you very much.
Yes, if you can break, if you can press 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, okay.
ngeen fan la skincare la 2020 lañ wax de waaw fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache perfect skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek loo lañ soxlaati rek maanaam bu dee am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen de lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man nag skincare mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox skincare plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories we do dresses as well we do blouses we do shoes name it we do them Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection zero task fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème picture boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii love like fire bring my love like fire
I get it. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. I get it.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol nka kodo kiya bele kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to koto ni kodi maraw jannam number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wala nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mane domorol ni fana be teat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
baraka ni lafta nyelen kendo le binaji
yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel chosano lo
baraka
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see that.